Hey guys, Dusty with LPL. So it's been a while since I've done a full video, um, for a long form video, and so I wanted to kind of catch you guys up and show you what I got going on. Well, I've been extremely busy the last year and a half or so. So uh, yes, I'm still working on cars. No, I haven't videoed the content because at a certain point, you just want to get stuff done, not bother with it. But that doesn't help you guys. So, uh, we're gonna start shooting some videos again and kind of going into some things. So, what I'm working on here is I've got a friend of mine that has, basically it's kind of a special car, but he wanted to build a 55, not a gasser, more of a pro street kind of car, and so he and I struck up a deal to build a chassis for him, and I'm gonna go into showing you how that's coming along. So stick around. All right, guys. So we've got a 55 post chassis that has been sandblasted. Then we lopped the rear of it off, you can see, and we're putting this rear half on. So it's a 4-link Dana 60, nothing too out of the ordinary, but what we've got going, so I thought I'd show kind of how I attached the front half to the rear half. Yeah, so we did the math for the wheelbase. Everything is squared. We're within a 32nd overall, which is really, really close. Chassis is all tacked down to the table, and so is the rear stub at proper elevations. So the car, which is sitting in my Conics unit, and I can't really show in this video, but I'm going to show moving forward, is a 55 two-door post. We put a full floor pan in it, and a full toe pan, and we're going to put a full firewall in it as well. What's kind of unique about this car is it's going to be set up for two distinctly different engines. One for the possibility of, say, like a drag and drive scenario, and one for just a all-out drag race car show type variable. What are you doing? This is Drax. He protects things around here. He's kind of a jerk. Don't get on his bad side. And he absolutely hates towels. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, so how we connected this is obviously we split the chassis, put the rear half on. This was all prefabricated, came with the car when I went and picked it up. He had already bought that from someone. But I went in and I welded the rear stub at proper elevation to the existing frame. And then I went in and ground the sides, cleaned them up really good, because we have an elevation difference. The existing frame sits below the cross member for the rear half. So I came up with these plates to basically pop this clamp off and show them a little better. Just came up with these plates to change those elevations over cleanly and tie everything together real nice. So once these are all welded out, they'll get a boxing plate, which basically this is for the rear and over the bottom, so that'll fit in there, something like that. And I have a top one around here somewhere. Anyway, it'll be another piece of 3/16 that covers this, ties this area together. Hopefully making a real clean looking transition. So this is where we're at so far with everything. The car, so we're going to set it up for a power glide in both instances. It will have a mid plate and a front plate for both types of engines. The first engine we're going to set this up for is just a run-of-the-mill big block Chevy with fender well headers and very basic setup. What's really cool though is the second engine that we're going to set up in this car, so he can switch them out kind of as he wishes, or honestly, as one breaks, he can switch out to the other. Is this bad hombre right over here. Well, wham! So we were setting this car up for a blown injected 392 Hemi.
How dare you!
Coincidentally, it'll use the same exact transmission and all that, and it will we'll just basically bolt an adapter onto the tranny, bolt the Hemi in, and but we'll have two distinct sets of motor mounts, two motor plate setups, so that, say, big block Chevy with stacks, stacked injected big block Chevy and blown 392 Hemi can be interchanged in just a day or so. Run, Jax, run. It's my daughter's project truck. She's 4, so it's actually my project truck. Anyway, so that's kind of what we've got going on. I'm gonna continue. I got to jump in right here. Obviously, I can't show any of the before, but we're gonna do a whole build series on this car and this chassis, and put together a video for you guys that want to watch. So kind of a good place to start with, kind of what's going on with this car is we are, basically struck up a deal and for me to build the chassis and do some other things on the car. Unfortunately, we're not going to see this project all the way through because at a certain point, I'm going to go drop it off with him and he's going to continue to build it. He's just having me do some of these items so he can do other stuff. But so my responsibilities, or where this project will end, is obviously the chassis will be completely done. The body will be mounted. We'll have full rear tin in the car, which I'll sheet metal work all of that with a bead roller and shrinker stretcher, tools like that. We're gonna do the roll cage in the car that'll certify to an 850. We're gonna set up obviously a transmission cross member. We are gonna put in some chassis stiffeners and things like that prior to completing the chassis and setting the body on, just so we have some good places to mount and tie into with the roll cage to make this thing a really safe car. The front suspension, what I've got is I've got tubular upper and lower control arms, and I've got a set of coilovers. We may do a rack. I'm not sure yet. I need to kind of see how things lay out with the rest of the chassis. May very well stick with a standard manual gearbox, for simplicity reasons. But we'll get into that as soon as I get there. Trying to think if there's anything else. So again, yeah, that the 55 post, which I can't really show you right now because it's in storage, tracks. It has received a new factory front floor pan, and we're putting in a tow pan and a new firewall to fit these engine choices. And obviously we'll do all that rear tin I already talked about. But yeah, so anyway, there's nothing left but to get to work, I suppose. So we'll finish tying all this in and you know, make some sparks. So tracks. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. All right, guys, so we've got this whole rear stub, 4-link stub tied in to this 55 chassis. You know, as I was welding this out, I was like, man, this is really built like a tank. You know, these plates here are 3/16. There's no way that these are going to come, that this is going to come apart. And there's a lot of guys that would probably build this a lot lighter. But I was told by an old man one time that it's way better to build a brick shit house than a shit brick house. All right, guys, so we've got the rear half attached. We still need to hang the front suspension on the chassis, and we're going to set up the motor and tranny cross members and motor plates, and do the really exciting thing, which is setting up that 392 Hemi in this chassis. Directly after that, we're going to set the body and do a roll cage, and that's all going to come in the coming weeks here. I know I haven't been real great about doing new content, but I've recently found a little more time, and so my commitment to you guys, I guess, is to create some more quality content and have fun doing it, and kind of show you what we've got going on. So for all you guys that have liked and subscribed, I really appreciate you. I also want to make sure you guys realize that my 55, the gasser, is still on the project list, and there'll be some videos coming, you know, in the near future for that. Another thing that's coming is my wife. She is starting a channel of her own, but there's going to be a lot of cross content between her channel and my channel. Her channel is Grumpy Fox, and so basically she's a stick shift racer, and that's where the Grumpy Fox came from, was kind of a play on Grumpy Jenkins. Anyway, she drives a '69 Chevelle. It's got a 565 big block and a 6-speed, and we really put that car together to do like race week and drag week type events, and she is raced the tires off of this thing the last 2 years, and is really getting actually very good. But one of the videos that's going to be coming up for that is we're now overpowering the suspension in the car, and I'll get into that deeper, in that video. But there should be some really good, expansive content coming up, and we can't wait to share it with you. So yeah, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe. We're gonna get some more gasser videos going here quite directly. Actually, as soon as this chassis is off the rack, my gasser 55 chassis will go back on basically in its same exact spot, and I'm gonna finish that out along with doing a bunch of chassis work on the Chevelle. So anything you guys want to see, I've got a ton of machine shop content and things like, stuff like that I can share as we go along the way. If you guys want to see more of that stuff, hit me up in the comments. Let me know. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess this is me signing off for this time. Tune in next time for stabbing a motor in this thing and starting to get that stuff set up. So.